Special Issue Task Force. How can I help you? And back joining us in the studio for Special Issue Task Force is Haeyoung. Haeyoung, hello to you.
Good evening, SJ, and our listeners.
Haeyoung, is there a word you can't pronounce?
Which one?
Words you can't pronounce or have been mispronouncing. I know. Everyone has one. They just don't know.
There are so many, so I can't name one.
There's one that you always
Aluminum?
mispronounce. No. There's always one that you mispronounce.
Which one?
Politics.
Politics. Oh,
You always say politics.
you should have told me
And then
earlier.
Jihee's was funny. Remember when we used to do Korea Now?
Uh-huh.
There was always words we all
European?
mispronounce. European. She used to go European.
Yeah, she told me that before.
European. And then was it Soa? It was Hoa and Jihee. And then Jihee was like, and then we had told her, you keep saying European.
But you can't fix it, right?
And she couldn't fix it. And then me and Soa were like trying not to laugh. We're like, oh my God, she's saying European again, European again.
Yours was foliage.
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 Foliage. I kept on saying
Aluminum.
foliage. Aluminum.
In Korean, we say aluminium.
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 Words people can't pronounce. John Hay says compromise. He used to say compromise. That's
Promise.
just.
Really?
That's just.
But by the way, you look great in gray.
It's weird. We were
Maybe
in
that's
gray,
your personal color.
but
Gray
we wore
is your
blue
personal-
last time.
We weren't.
What was it? Wasn't it a day where we were all wearing blue?
Really?
Oh, it was me,
It
Angela,
was you, Angela, and Pirini,
and
producer.
you pointed out.
Yes.
That. Yes.
Maybe that's your personal color, I think.
Gray.
Oh, like loco and
Yes.
gray.
Every time I see gray, I have to say gray like that. Haeyoung, let's go into some of the hot issues of the week.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's an understatement to say it's been quite a week in Korean diplomacy, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's calling it, some people are calling it President Lee's Super Week. Malaysia to Gyeongju, you got President Lee Jae-myung wrapping up one major summit and getting ready for another one. All right, tell us what's happening here.
Yes, President Lee Jae-myung just returned from a 2-day visit to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where he attended the ASEAN and ASEAN Plus 3 summits, and it was sort of a prelude to a much bigger diplomatic stage, the APEC summit, which officially kicked off on Monday in Gyeongju.
That's right. So, a warm-up event before the main one, right?
Yes.
What was the focus of the ASEAN trip?
Well, his main goal was to strengthen Korea's partnership with ASEAN countries and to build momentum for broader regional cooperation. And during the trip, President Lee met with Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet to discuss expanding trade and security cooperation. And they also addressed a sensitive issue, the recent abductions and scams involving South Koreans in Cambodia. And the two leaders agreed to launch a special Korea task force, not a special task. What's the name of our segment? Special Issue Task Force.
Yes.
Next month to tackle those crimes more effectively. And that's a pretty serious topic and a good example of how diplomacy often extends beyond economics or politics. And it shows how foreign policy can directly impact the safety of Korean nationals overseas. But Lee's visit wasn't just about crisis management. He also emphasized long-term regional partnerships, announcing that Korea will host the next Special Korea ASEAN Summit in 2029.
It's much more than being able to pronounce stuff. Seong doesn't
Politics.
know the.
Let me practice one more time.
Seong doesn't even know what
Politics.
the segment
Special
is called.
Task Force.
Special
how can I
issue.
tell? Special Issue Task Force. How can I help you?
Again, big meeting, and it's also a big announcement. And I imagine his meeting with other leaders like China's Premier, Li Chang,
yeah.
drew a lot of attention as well.
Yeah, definitely. It was their first face-to-face meeting. And while it was brief, it helped set the tone for future cooperation between Seoul and Beijing, especially ahead of the upcoming trilateral talks among Korea, China, and Japan.
So now that the ASEAN trip is wrapped up, now obviously all eyes are going to be at the APEC summit down in Gyeongju.
Sure.
Can you give us an overview of what's happening over there?
Yeah, the APEC summit officially opened on Monday, like I said, with senior officials meetings, basically the groundwork before the main leader session start later this week. And this is Korea's first major multilateral summit since President Lee took office, and the first time APEC has been held in Korea in 20 years since the Busan summit back in 2005. And I want to introduce the beauty of city of Gyeongju to our listeners. Gyeongju is a city known for its history and culture. Have you been there?
No, have you?
Yeah, many times. Not many times, but like few times.
It's where my parents-in-law,
Oh,
they went on honeymoon
a honeymoon.
and they live in Daegu. They took a 30-minute bus.
Not even Jeju. Yeah, back in the days, it was like a norm.
So every time I see Gyeongju, it just reminds me of poor mother-in-law. But again,
But it's a beautiful city.
no, but I did hear
yeah.
that it's the museum without walls. I've heard of that.
It's often called the museum without walls since it's filled with ancient relics from the Silla kingdom. And in Korea, students often go on a school trips to Gyeongju, not honeymoon, when they are teenagers. At least that was the case in my days. I don't know if teenagers still go on school trips to Gyeongju these days, but it's considered an excellent educational destination with many famous cultural sites like Cheomseongdae, a stone tower used by the Silla people to observe stars,
Yep.
and Bulguksa Temple, Seokgoram, and there are so many beautiful cultural sites. So hosting a major international event there really connects Korea's past and present. It's symbolic of the country's global identity today.
I know they say like Jeonju is also a very historical city too, but I think it's very different.
Yes.
Gyeongju has, it's more ancient almost.
Yes, it is.
It's more historical. Like I again, very well put here.
If you enjoyed the movie K-pop Demon Hunters, you will love Gyeongju.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Really?
If you want to figure out if it's true or not, please visit Gyeongju.
Oh my goodness.
You'll find it out.
I only watched 20 minutes of K-pop Demon Hunter, and there was no Gyeongju in the
I watched
first.
it twice.
Twice?
Yes, because of my kid.
Oh
he
my
loved
goodness.
it. He loved it.
What's the main theme of this year's APEC summit?
The theme is empowering a sustainable future, connectivity, innovation, and prosperity. And over the next several days, 21 member economies, including the U.S., China, and Japan, and Korea, will discuss how to strengthen trade, digital transformation, and green growth in the Asia-Pacific region. And Gyeongju is now in full summit mode. Security is tight, of course. Traffic is restricted, and local residents can really feel the difference. There's also the CEO summit happening at the same time, featuring global business leaders like Jensen Huang of NVIDIA and Masayoshi Son of SoftBank. So it's not just about politics, it's also about technology and economic innovation.
Jensen, if you're tuning in, just letting you know you're invited to our show if you want to stop by here.
If you want to stop by.
Good man,
yes.
good man. One of the big questions everybody's asking, though, will there be a major breakthrough like a Korea-U.S. tariff deal? Right, still working on a trade deal, right? Or even a
Yes.
surprise meeting between Mr. Trump and his good friend Kim Jong-un. Is that happening?
Well, that's the big speculation. First, is Seoul and Washington trade talks. President Lee Jae-myung is set to meet Trump on Wednesday for bilateral talks on the sidelines of the APEC meeting, and all eyes are on whether Seoul and Washington will be able to close the deal. Korean officials, however, have been cautious, saying a tariff deal is unlikely to be finalized this week, despite President Trump suggesting otherwise, and they emphasize that any agreement should prioritize Korea's economic interests rather than political timing. And meanwhile, as for a Trump-Kim meeting, predictions vary from expert to expert. Officials said the chances are low, though they didn't completely rule it out. As we know from 2019, diplomacy can move fast when the moment comes. So basically, never say never in diplomacy. In particular, since Trump has said that he would love to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during his trip to Asia, we'll have to keep a close tab on how Kim will respond and how this meeting will develop. By the way, President Trump will stay in Korea for 2 days from Wednesday, but he will not attend the APEC summit, which will be held from Friday.
So he did say, though, that he's willing to stay longer if it means that he'll be meeting with them. He said,
Right, that's right.
I haven't mentioned it, I haven't said anything, but I'd love to meet him. if he'd like to meet me and get along great with Kim Jong-un. I like him. He liked me. If he wants to meet, I'll be in
He's
South
a good
Korea.
friend of mine. We have
No, that's
good
exactly what he said. He said,
Yes.
I like him. He like me. If he wants to meet, I'll be in South Korea. And,
yes.
I mean, again, we do hope it happens, right? I mean, there was a lot of
Right.
things leading up to it. I mean, you know, Trump mentioned the whole nuclear power thing, which
That's
is
right.
gonna go. You know, North Koreans are not going, huh? What'd you call us? Nuclear power? Yes, that's exactly what you want to hear.
You never know what's going to happen. So, yeah.
And again, this week, it really seemed like it's going to be a defining week for President Lee's foreign policy.
Yeah, it's a key moment for him to establish his diplomatic vision, showing that Korea isn't just responding to global events, but actively shaping them. And for Gyeongju, it's also a proud moment to be at the center of global attention. And next week on the Special Issue Task Force, I will summarize the outcomes from APEC. So, yeah, please tune in.
All right, there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, APEC Summit happening 31st and November 1st. That's for 2 days. But, of course, leading up to, we got Trump Summit. We got the Trump-Xi Summit. It's going to be great. We'll talk about all of that stuff. We'll talk more about some of the hot issues of the past week. But first, this is NCT 127 with Welcome to My Playground. The last track you heard, NCT 127 with Welcome to My Playground. We're back in the studio with Sang. Talked about President Lee's diplomacy, the APEC Summit. You know,
How beautiful Gyeongju is.
How beautiful it is. Now, you know, we're just talking about people are going over to APEC Summit for all these emceeing gigs and stuff. We're not going anywhere. Because the party's here.
Right.
At the Arirang Tower.
And especially the Culture Inc.
Yes. We have the EU Summit going on here.
We're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere,
We're Dumb and
guys.
Dumber combo.
Oh my goodness. So,
Yes.
talk about something else that made the big headlines here. The Cosby. We're not talking about Bill Cosby. We're talking about the Korean exchange. Korea's main stock index finally broke the 4,000 mark for the first time ever on Monday. I've always said this, but the Korean stock index, it's very undervalued, ladies and gentlemen. It's very undervalued.
Do you know how much it was during Asian financial crisis?
900 something?
200.
200 something? Oh my goodness. Okay.
It was that bad.
Okay, but really, to hit 4,000, still undervalued, but it is a historic market for the Korean market. Sam, tell us more.
Yes, it was Koreans. It's what Koreans are calling 사천피 시대, literally meaning Kospi 4,000. On Monday, the Kospi jumped by 101 points, closing at 4,042.83, up 2.57% from the previous session, setting an all-time high. And it's been less than 4 months since the index crossed 3,000 again in June, and now is charging toward what some are already calling the next milestone, Kospi 5,000 era.
It is still very undervalued. I do not have any stocks. My kids have stocks, and they are doing fantastic right now.
Oh, so jealous.
I'm so jealous too. I'm so jealous of my kids.
You can't touch their stocks, right? It's not yours.
It's not mine. It's their money. I mean, it's all the money that they got from the relatives and stuff like that. I mean, it's I invested clearly. I invested well. I'm not going to get any of that stuff. But it is a steep climb in a very short period of time. 4,000 from 3,000 to 4,000. That's a lot. What's driving up this rally?
Well, there are two main forces, foreign investors and semiconductor giants. Foreigners bought over 6.4 trillion won worth of stocks, while institutions also joined in. But interestingly, individual Korean investors, or 개미, we call them 개미 in Korean, sold nearly 8 trillion won. So foreigners were the real drivers behind this record-breaking rally. And especially Samsung Electronics made history. Samsung stock hit 100,000 won for the first time ever, a symbolic milestone Koreans have been waiting for. It closed at 102,000 won, while SK Hynix also surged to a record 537,000 won. And these two chip makers together make up nearly 1/3 of the Kospi's total market value. And their rally, fueled by expectations of an AI-driven semiconductor boom, played a huge part in pushing the index past 4,000.
Absolutely. Yangurum, I don't have SK Hynix. My daughter has SK Hynix. She's really enjoying that stuff. So semiconductors are doing the heavy lifting again, but it is a major. I mean, you're talking about Samsung Electronics, the largest stock by market cap.
Yes.
SK Hynix, I believe, is up there as well. Just like during Korea's last big stock rally a few years ago, right?
Yeah, analysts are calling it the semiconductor super cycle, but this time it's not just about exports. There's growing optimism that global chip demand will skyrocket thanks to AI and cloud technologies. And on top of that, hopes of a U.S.-China trade deal and the U.S. Federal Reserve's potential rate cuts added fuel to the rally. So global optimism meets Korea's tech strength created a powerful result. And it's not just the Kospi, the Kosdaq, which focuses more on smaller tech companies, also rose over 2.2%, closing above 900 for the first time in 19 months.
It's actually funny how the stock markets move. Like yesterday when, Trump mentioned the whole nuclear power thing about North Korea, all the defense stocks start skyrocketing. And then today, Trump goes, I would like to meet Kim Jong-un. He likes me. I like him. And then goes down. So it moves.
Yes.
It's up and down, up and down. But here's our question. Does everyone benefit from this rally, or is it just mostly big companies?
Well, that's a really important point. The Kospi surge has been very concentrated. Large cap stocks like Samsung and SK Hynix are soaring, but many other sectors, construction, entertainment, even retail, are lagging behind. In fact, more than 1,400 stocks actually showed negative returns since June, even as the index hit record highs.
So the average investor might not be feeling the 4,000 mark euphoria then.
Yeah, it's a bit of a paradox. The headlines say Kospi 4,000, but many small investors don't see the same gains in their portfolios, including myself. And that's why some analysts are warning about an over-concentration risk when money flows only into a few big names. And some analysts warn this kind of phenomenon can make the market more volatile later on. And if global conditions shift, for example, if the Fed delays its rate cuts or chip demand cools down, those same large cap stocks could pull the index down sharply. So while this milestone is historic, analysts are urging caution. And one expert even said for Korea to sustain its momentum, we need both market-friendly policies and corporate governance reform. In other words, long-term trust matters as much as short-term profits.
From a cultural perspective, though, Seong, this feels like a really symbolic moment for Koreans, right?
It does. The stock market isn't just about investing. It's tied to national pride and economic confidence, especially when we think about how quickly the country rebounded from political uncertainty and chaos from last year. So now Kospi 5,000 could be next. That's the big question. People are already talking about Kospi 5,000. Some analysts say it's possible if the AI investment boom continues next year and domestic policies keep supporting corporate growth.
Definitely so. Again, I firm believer that the Kospi is very, very undervalued and it should be up there in the 10,000 range. But one of the main reasons for why it doesn't hit that because technically the country's still at war.
Right.
And the vast majority of investors on the Kospi are foreign investors. And so they can't risk a war.
Political uncertainty.
Yeah, all that stuff, right? At least for the time being, though, ever since the switch in the administration,
geopolitical issues.
We're seeing good stuff here. All right, we'll see how it goes. And this doesn't mean that everyone's going to jump into the stocks. Tread carefully, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to investing. Let's take a listen to another song here. This is Baby Monster with We Go Up.
But I'm so proud that Korea Kospi surpassed 4,000 mark.
It's him.
I'm happy with that.
You should never take advice from anybody.
From anybody?
Yes.
Not even you?
Not even me. I never give advice to people because I think that's a terrible thing to do.
Oh,
what if
really?
it goes down? Because, I'm not going to say it, but, a certain, producer, not our producer, a producer, I know, he goes, you got to buy this, right? And I bought it. As soon as I bought it, 50%, minus 50%.
Minus 50%?
It's going back up, though, after a year. It's finally going back up. You can't listen.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm telling you.
Lesson learned.
You got to make choices on your own.
On your
Take
own.
The risk on
your own research.
Absolutely.
Yes.
One final story here. Today is October 28th. Tomorrow is October 29th. Might seem like just a very random date. Not here in Korea, though. I do remember this day very, very vividly. 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, tomorrow, the tragic Itaewon crowd crush incident, which took the lives of 159 mostly young people,
Right.
During the Halloween celebrations in Itaewon back in 2022. 3 years, almost. Hang on, let's talk about this.
Yes, to mark the occasion, the government announced that a 1-minute memorial siren would sound across Seoul at exactly 10:29 a.m. on Wednesday, October 29th, symbolizing the date and time of the tragedy. And the Ministry of the Interior and Safety said the siren is not an emergency alert, but a call for citizens to pause, reflect, and remember those who lost their lives. And the ministry explained that it reflects a broader message that the Itaewon disasters was not just an individual tragedy, but a shared responsibility of our community and a reminder of the ongoing commitment to prevent such disasters in the future.
I heard several remembrance events were held even over on the weekend, right?
Right. On Saturday evening, a citizen memorial event was held at Seoul Plaza beginning at 6:34 p.m., the exact time when the first emergency call was made 3 years ago. And families of victims, many wearing purple jackets, a color that has come to symbolize remembrance, gathered with citizens carrying signs reading "Together with the Stars" for truth and justice. And many participants were visibly emotional as names of all 159 victims were read aloud one by one, followed by moments of silence, speeches, and musical tributes.
You know, I know 3 years could seem like a long time, but it could also feel like a very short period of time as well, because, you know, we've seen some of our close friends get, affected by this.
Right.
Halloween hasn't been the same for the past 3 years. And I know some of our listeners were asking if I was going to dress up for Halloween and things like that. I still don't feel comfortable, to be honest with you. Really don't. It used to be a day of celebrations, but if you remember...
Right.
All the
what
lives that...
happened on that day 2 years ago.
Exactly. So, like, I still feel, a little bit uncomfortable with the whole, dress up and let's have fun
Halloween
kind of a thing.
Festivities, yes.
This year's ceremony carried some particular significance.
Yeah, it did. This was the first official memorial jointly organized by the victims' families, the Seoul Metropolitan Government, and the Ministry of the Interior and Safety. In other words, it was the first time that the government and the victims' families came together at an official event. That's because the previous Yoon Suk-yeol administration had refused to attend the memorial, saying it could turn into a political event. But this year, Prime Minister Kim Min-seok attended on behalf of the government, a notable change, we can say.
I mean, you knew that after the pandemic, many people were going to come out and celebrate Halloween at Itaewon. There were signs, people knew about it, but they didn't do anything. Nothing was put in place to protect the crowd and control the crowd. And unfortunately, tragedy struck a lot of people who did not take the fall for it.
Right.
Some people took the fall when they shouldn't have. Others that should have taken the fall did not take the fall.
That's right.
But really is a major step forward in reconciliation between the government and the victim's family. But a lot has to do with the fact that, again, it's a different administration.
Yeah, it was an emotional moment. Kim Min-seok, Prime Minister Kim Min-seok, speaking at the ceremony, said the Itaewon tragedy was not a mere accident, but a heartbreaking disaster born of the collapse of public responsibility and the safety system. And he acknowledged that truth-finding has been insufficient and disciplinary actions lacking, and vowed to take actions that match the gravity of responsibility. So we can say there's now a clearer tone of accountability from the government. And Kim added that the government will build a memorial site reflecting the voices of victims' families, a place to remember the value of life and safety. And he emphasized that remembrance should not end with mourning, but continue as a shared effort to build a safer nation.
No, it's true. I mean, we had the Sarah incident.
Right.
And we thought we learned from that. And
But
unfortunately, this happened.
Years, yes.
No, this is something that it hits hard. And I know, again, my buddy Billy, he's tuning into our show all the time. I remember he was like, he came to Korea and he was like, we have to go to Itaewon for Halloween. We have to. And I said, maybe we shouldn't. I just don't like crowd. I had a bad feeling, right? I just don't like crowds. I didn't want to go to Itaewon for Halloween. And I said, let's go to Busan instead. We went to Busan. And that's when we started getting like the flow of information. One person dead, people dead.
Oh, no.
And next thing you know, I went to sleep. Next morning, I get
Yes.
Text messages, phone calls from the U.S. My relatives going, you're not in Itaewon. Where I was like, no, I'm as far as possible.
They worried, right?
They were very worried.
Yes, it was really hard to believe what happened in Korea.
Yeah.
The center of Seoul.
And,
right?
we actually had, like a coworker
Yes.
of ours who was there. And
He even appeared on the show to share his
yeah,
memories.
yeah,
and
last year it was
experience
actually.
last year, right?
Yeah, and, we gave him a week off after that because it hit him so hard. And
Right.
again, let's kind of finish things off. I mean, the safety is not just a system, right? But it's really a shared promise and feels especially powerful 3 years later.
That's right. The Itaewon disaster changed how many Koreans think about public safety and collective responsibility. Since then, disaster response protocols have been strengthened and safety management at large events has improved at concerts and so on. But many say the most important change is awareness, the belief that remembering is itself a form of action. So when the sirens sound at 10:29 tomorrow morning, it will be more than a sound of mourning. It's a national moment of reflection.
No, definitely so. John says they have plans to control crowds this Halloween, especially since on a Friday. Yes, I mean, they've put on quite a bit of crowd control starting last
Right.
year. The year before that, after, 1 year anniversary, there was no one going out.
Right.
Second year, I think everyone kind of head out to like Hongdae and stuff like that. But there was crowd control in place.
Right.
Nothing happens when there's crowd control in place. That's exactly what it is. Seong, big stuff here. Thank you as always for your run through on these special issues. Have a fantastic rest of your week. We'll see you again next Tuesday.
Stay warm, everyone.
All right, sending her out of the studio. Let's take a listen to a song from Ladies Code with I'm Fine, Thank You.